What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. I'm back with Gab and Maui. Say hi, boys.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, wala pa rin UAP.
Wala pa ring UAAP,
Wala
kaya
pa rin.
nakikita nyo na siguro sa title ng episode na to. We're gonna veer away a bit from the UAAP and talk about something a bit more relevant. Something na pwede natin pag-usapan ngayon dahil wala masyadong aksyon sa UAAP. We're gonna talk about the SEA Games in general. The SEA Games, but specifically basketball, no? I think here sa Boleros, we're mostly dedicated to UAAP, but siguro the SEA Games or international competition is something that we can talk about because there are some UAAP players for some reason
Exactly.
in that team now. So we have a few players there representing us in the SEA Games in Cambodia. So pasok dun sa niche market natin, which is UAAP. So we're going to talk about that today. Gab, you have questions for us. Let's get straight to the point.
All right. So my first question for you boys, I just want to get your thoughts on how Gilas prepared for the SEA Games because I think we all saw the tweets, the news articles, the photographs. Barely anyone practiced for this tournament. Maui shaking his head. Maui, you go first.
I think it's disgusting to be honest. The preparation for the Sea Games, not just because of the Sea Games. The World Cup, the basketball FIBA World Cup is coming this August. So dapat they should have used the Sea Games training. We should have been preparing as early as last year or even earlier. But since we're preparing late, we should have been preparing even for the Sea Games. And it's disappointing to say the least. You see articles where yung training nila, kulang yung players. Parang there's only 9 or 10 players. Some players arrive at
Embarrassing.
my man. Some players are arriving at 10 p.m., 9 p.m. late sa practice. It's like a pickup game, but it's the practice of the national team. It's crazy. There's no PBA season already. So no excuses. It's disappointing since it's FIBA World Cup is coming, and I mean everyone wants the Philippines to perform well, and it's this early. We should have used the SEA Games as a practice for the World Cup. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Gilas Pilipinas struggles in the SEA Games again, unfortunately.
Sam.
Yeah, agree with Maui. Parang wala tayong natutunan no? Parang wala tayong natutunan in the past. Hindi pa tayo natuto sa mga kahihiyan na nangyari sa atin in the past. And we're just, parang sobrang chill natin. Preparing for the SEA Games kahit na hindi tayo nag-gold last time, hindi tayo nanalo last time.
Diba?
Same thing with, 'di ba? The World Cup later on. Kasi host tayo eh. Dapat tayong nagpe-prepare para at least hindi naman nakakahiya yung ipapakita natin when the entire world or all the Filipino fans will watch us. But I think I think for me, I wouldn't really blame the players. I think nung latter parts of it, sabi nga ni Maui, wala ng PBA nun, but a lot of the players, let's say sina Brownlee, etc., they came from the finals, diba? So probably pagod pa, they were trying to recover. Can't blame the players for prioritizing rest also. Ayaw naman natin sila ma-injure. I think it really goes to like management and the leadership yung people organizing this. Kasi why would you put the PBA close to the SEA Games? Like, why would you make the PBA, continue until like 2 weeks before the SEA Games? I mean, hindi ko talaga alam. Parang, wala lang. We're prioritizing business. We're prioritizing yung money makers natin, but we're not really serious about yung SEA Games or any international competition. At least from the way they organize it, 'di ba? Puro salita pero wala namang changes na nangyayari talaga.
Ako, same thoughts as you, Sam. The first question ko is, wala bang pride itong mga basketball folks natin or the players? Actually, I don't even blame the players for this one. Yung mga coaches, basketball people natin, mga organizers, managers, whatever, natalo tayo sa SEA Games last year. Palagi tayong nananalo sa SEA Games, pero natalo tayo sa SEA Games. And yet, they treat it like we're gonna win again. Diba? Parang yun yung mindset nila eh. Okay, natalo tayo, pero fluke yun. Yung mananalo tayo ulit. So sobrang nakakainis yung ganong mindset. And yun nga, yung gaya sabi ni Maui, I wouldn't be surprised if we lost again. I mean, Indonesia and Thailand challenged us last SEA Games. I wouldn't be surprised if they challenge us again in this SEA Games, diba? Sobrang walang preparation at all. Gaya sabi ni Maui, dapat man lang gamitin nyo to as prep for the World Cup, pero wala. Nothing. Just a ragtag.
Kahihiyan.
Ano?
Kahihiyan.
Yes. Kahihiyan. And you know, this is the value, I guess, of having a dedicated, yung dati, yung Gilas program, talagang a dedicated team na for international competition para ma-avoid yung ganitong circumstances na kakatapos pala ng PBA, so kailangan 2 weeks before lang tayo yung mag-form ng team. Diba?
Kala mo Team USA. Kala mo Team USA.
Yeah, tama ka, Maui. I think may ganun talagang mentality na feel nila ang gagaling nila na like they can just put together like the best players and prepare for 2 weeks and kaya yan. But that wasn't the case last year. So I don't understand but hindi pa rin sila nagbabago.
Saka kahit Team USA natatalo na sa strategy na gano'n na biglaan na lang bumubuo ng team, di ba? So it's really disappointing. And you see, just to go back dun sa hosting of the FIBA World Cup, you can see a team like Cambodia, which is hosting the SEA Games right now. They really prepared. Definitely, they really prepared.
Mm-hmm.
They have like, I don't know, 6 naturalized players ready for the SEA Games. So it makes you think, a basketball crazy nation like the Philippines, why are there not? Most of the funding goes to basketball. All the other sports always complain na hindi enough ang funding ng other sports. But why is the preparation like this every time? And it's really disappointing. It's really scaring me for what will happen sa FIBA World Cup because that's the thing that really matters for me.
Honestly, I feel like pagdating sa FIBA World Cup, tatabakan lang naman tayo ulit. Honestly, parang nung last time tayo yung nasa World Cup, tinabakan tayo ng every game. I feeling ako na yun yung mangyayari. Diba? No matter what group we join in the World Cup. We're grouped with Italy, I think. So,
yes.
May feeling ako tatabakan tayo like 50 or 40.
Italy, Angola,
with the way we're
Dominican
preparing
Republic
for this.
Yeah.
And you know, Gab, that's a good point, no? Pero I was gonna say lang, it's come to the point na we have to host the FIBA para makapasok tayo dun sa actual games, di ba? Kasi we can't qualify. Hindi we're not good enough to like qualify the traditional way. Sige, may pera naman tayo, host na lang natin para auto-in na tayo. Parang ganun yung nangyayari, no? Like, it's not like we made it, di ba? I mean, technically, if hindi tayo host, we wouldn't have made it. Dahil lang host tayo, we made it and now we feel like, kaya natin yan. Ganun. Parang ganun yung dating for me.
It's gonna be like, for me, it's gonna be like yung alam mo yung dream team, yung Barcelona games, na yung ibang teams yung nagpa-autograph lang sa Team USA.
Sa USA?
Feel ko ganun lang. Uy, si Luka. Sige, yung mag-autograph tayo. Ganun. Well, anyway, it's a good segue, Maui, that you pointed out yung Cambodia and their 6 naturalized players, because that is my next question. What do you think it's right that Cambodia is fielding such a team, not just in 5-on-5 men's basketball,
Yeah,
pati 5-on-5 women's basketball, 3-on-3 men's and
3-on-3.
women's basketball. They're essentially uh, bringing in naturalized players that don't have any Cambodian blood. I don't think they have any Cambodian blood to play for their national team. Sammy, let's start with you.
Okay, when we talk about spirit of the game, spirit of the game, alam mo yan, Gab, sa Ultimate. Uh, Obviously, it's not right. I don't think uh, fielding that many naturalized players to represent your country is in the spirit of the competition or the games, no, or the idea of what the SEA Games are, or what these international competitions are, which is really to showcase yung talents ng each country, 'di ba? So when we're talking about that, it's obviously doesn't make sense, 'di ba? It's so weird na lahat tayo nawiwirdohan, even the players, 'di ba? But I'm sure nabasa niyo rin yung article sa Spin, or you know about this, but in every SEA Games man, the host has some leeway to change the rules. For me, it's gamesmanship, 'di ba? So a lot of times, like, whoever will host the games will insert a bunch of ano ba, indigenous sports or local sports na kung saan sila magagaling, or sports kung saan sila magagaling, 'di ba? Or games na magagaling sila. So if you think about it that way, Cambodia was working within the rules of the SEA Games. So, if you ask me, wala naman silang ginawang anything illegal per se. It's within the rules of the SEA Games. So, nothing wrong there. Pero when we're talking about the spirit of the game, definitely, para sa akin, labag to dun sa objective of the SEA Games.
Maui.
I think it's outrageous. It's gamemanship at its best. You gotta head into
Exactly.
Cambodia. At least they prepared, unlike us. But I think with any sport like basketball, there's FIBA, which is the governing body for most of the basketball events all around the world. I think that FIBA should also have a power when it comes to the SEA Games, when it comes to the Asian Games, and any other regional games when it comes to basketball. That way, you'll be able to control nga yung gamemanship, as we call it, playing, finding that thin line where you can find that advantage. And I think it really boils down to that. If you guys don't know, FIBA has a different rule just for Asia. It's called the Hagop rule. This was conceptualized because I think Qatar is one of the countries. We are also one of the countries that are guilty of this because of the Phil Sham before. I think when it comes to being eligible to play, you're required to have a passport before 16 years old before you can play in any FIBA basketball event. And I think that events like the Asian Games, events like the SEA Games, prove that this rule has to be retained. Unfortunately, yung big hit talaga is with the Philippines kasi we have a lot of OFWs. We have a lot of Phil foreigners that should be eligible. If we were, let's say, part of, let's say, FIBA Africa or FIBA Europe. But unfortunately, because of this type of outrageous gamemanship that the Asian countries do, I'm not entirely against it because I agree with Sam, it's gamemanship, but I think it's outrageous. In any sport, there has to be a governing body to control these types of things. But it's outside the scope of FIBA, so it's like we just have to accept it. But if that's the case, then maybe if Cambodia did this, I'm really disappointed that the Philippines did not do anything at all.
Well, Maui, that's technically wrong. I mean, they're playing players who are technically not eligible in FIBA standards, diba?
That's
Chris
true.
Newsom,
Si Newsom is
Chris
eligible
Ross, Stan
na.
Hardinger, Brownlee,
I think
Mike Phillips.
I think Chris Ross and Newsom are already eligible because of a FIBA rule where you spend X amount of years in the country. But yeah, Gab, I agree with your point. Stan Hardinger, the Phillips brothers, I don't think they have FIBA eligibility. So yeah, I think to a T, siguro yung Philippines nga did the part. But it's crazy to think that a team like Cambodia, which is not known in basketball, has 6 naturalized players, meaning they really prioritize even basketball. I think they're probably doing this with every sport. So I think it's outrageous, really, to tell you the truth. Yeah, that's
Okay,
my
here's
stance.
my parang opposing point of view because I've been thinking it both ways. You made a good point, Maui. Cambodia hindi naman to basketball country eh. I mean, wala silang hope mag-compete in basketball. So, they're just leveraging the rules. Gaya nga nasabi ni Sam. They're just leveraging the rules in order for them to compete and be fair. Because honestly, di ba, historically, tinatambak natin Cambodia for what, 60? 60? I think may isang SEA Games, yung mga college players, 80 plus points yung tinambak nila sa Cambodia because no one actually plays from Cambodia. They don't have a basketball program talaga. You know, it's not a sport. It's not a main sport that they focus on. So for me, kung in Cambodia's viewpoint, gets ko eh. Alam mo yun na we have to level the playing field and also for me, ginagawa rin to ng Pilipinas eh. Which is why, diba, we lobby hard for Jordan Clarkson to be considered a local because we want you know a player in the caliber of Jordan Clarkson to be part of the national team. So we're trying that, no? We're trying okay, we can't compete with the European and American countries. So we have to do something. We have to do something to level the playing field. And I think Cambodia is just doing the same thing. And based on the system, yung rules ng SEA Games, they can do it. Gaya ng sabi ni Sam, it's in the rules. They can do it.
Yeah.
Siguro just to add, sorry Maui, just to add, it's sa totoo lang, it's not an issue eh. Pwede pa rin naman talunin yung Cambodia kahit na may 6 silang naturalized players.
That's true.
But sana nakapag-prepare yung team mo ng maayos, 'di ba? Yun ang problema. So ngayon, hindi kayo prepared. Akala nyo you can just steamroll Cambodia. Tingnan natin. Hindi nyo in-expect na may mga naturalized players sila. Kasi I would be still confident in the Philippines winning. Syempre, mas talented pa rin overall yung team. But kinakabahan lang ako because the preparation is not there. Eh. Yun yung mas issue for me. Sorry, Maui, you were going to say something.
Less takot ako actually sa Cambodia, more sa Indonesia. And Thailand.
Yeah,
Of course. Actually, Vietnam, magaling din eh.
Yeah.
And Vietnam, yes.
May NBA players yun, yung mga Juzang, NBA
Yung
player.
brothers.
Is Johnny Juzang playing?
I don't think he is. Pati si Jalen Williams is also, I think, a Vietnamese from the OKC Thunder. So the other countries are really catching up with the Philippines. I'm not sure if they have FIBA eligibility. But yeah, I just wanted to add lang about the Clarkson thing, Gab. I think yung sa Philippines naman, it's really warranted. We have a ton of players, a ton of basketball players that should be eligible. It's just that the rules in Asia is different versus the rules in other regions, sadly. But I think it's really a byproduct rin naman of the faults of the Asian countries why they had to impose such a rule, yung Hagop rule. Yun lang.
Great points from both of you guys. So okay, those are just my 2 questions. Gilas has only played just 1 game. It was against Malaysia yesterday and we dominated. Tomorrow is gonna be the real test, no? They're gonna face Cambodia with their 6 naturalized players. And we'll see. We're gonna talk about this more. We're gonna watch closely because yun nga, I'm watching closely because we lost last time and I want us to win. You know, I think I have more pride than our whole basketball program combined. Diba?
It's crazy.
yung sana naman mag-statement ang Pilipinas versus yung Southeast Asian countries. Tayo dapat ang kings of Southeast Asia pero tinatalo na tayo. Crazy.
Grabe.
So, anyway, that's it for this episode of Boleros. Sam, you wanna sign us off?
Okay, it's a short episode for us today. Stay tuned for more episodes. We'll talk more about the SEA Games as Gab mentioned. Comment down below, what are your thoughts? What are your answers to the two questions that we had today? And let us know if we missed anything. If you have any other ideas on topics that we can talk about, feel free to share them. If you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. That's it for us. Thank you. See you. Goodbye.